I'm Dan Wolf. Laura's on assignment. Thanks for joining us. An 18% rate increase for water and gas bills has Superior's mayor and businesses upset. Northern News Now's Madison Green spent time across the bridge today hearing why an SWLNP proposal is getting a lot of backlash.
Ariana Cook co-owns Empire Coffee in Superior. Cook says they have enough community support to brace for more expensive bills, but knows not everyone can.
The job market's already a really volatile place, and they might have to let people go, which no one really wants.
Cook thinks companies may be forced to choose between their employees or paying the proposed 2% rate increase for electric and over 17% increase for both water and gas by Superior Water, Light and Power. The new rates would cost the average resident an additional $26 a month.
It's that rock hard place, and the way out is a den of sharks. So there's no win. There's only just paying your bills.
But Superior Mayor Jim Payne wants to create a way out for residents. At Tuesday's City Council meeting, he's asking the council for support to formally intervene against the rate increases.
None of the members of the utility are elected, and so they deserve somebody that works 100% for them, down there speaking for them and not speaking for shareholders or private profits. Somebody has to speak for the cost of living in Superior.
President of SWLNP, Rob Sandstrom, says these rate increases are a reflection of the utilities doing what they believe is best for residents.
So it's long-term investments in safety and reliability so we can support the ongoing expectations of our customers to deliver clean, safe, and reliable energy and water services.
Customers like Cook who wish these costs could stop with her.
And it's just frustrating because we have to kind of pass that on to the consumer. That it's frustrating for the consumer because they can't do anything about it. And on their end, they are also having that 17% at home.
In Superior, Madison Green, Northern News Now.
Mayor Payne's going to find out if he has the council's support at their meeting, which starts about half an hour from right now. If approved, the rate increases will go into effect next year.